Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing the animal book tag. So I was very kindly tagged by Michaela of Michaela Eve Reads, who I will link hers down below, and the original tag for this was created by Miranda Reads, who I will also link down below. I'm really excited, let's get stuck in. The first question in this is whale, the animal that only comes up for air when it needs to. What book did you only stop reading when you had to? And for that I've picked Morning Star by Pierce Brown. I just remember this book being so unputdownable and addictive and twisty-turny. I read it alongside Caitlin at Kitty G, and I remember us voxering each other going, "What? Did that happen? Have you got to this bit? I need to talk to you about this. Read this bit." And it was just one of those gobble up action-packed stories that I just adored. So this is definitely one that I didn't want to put down. Next up is The Lion, beautiful but scary. What is a great book but it intimidated you at first? And for that it has to be Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. As always, I'm always hesitant with classics. Don't know why it's in my head. It's totally unfathomable really, because I have no idea why classics suddenly make me think, oh, you can't read them, they're going to be too hard for you, too intellectual, and you're just not going to get on with them. And this again proved me wrong. I loved this. It was such a great story. Jane in this is just such an interesting character, and I just loved it, and it was definitely a surprise for me. Next is The Goldfish, every kid's favourite. And what was one of your favourite books as a child? Well, for me it was The Jolly Postman and Other People's Letters by Janet and Alan Alberg. I loved, like all kids, getting things in the post. It was really great fun getting a letter or a postcard in the post. I couldn't wait for it to have my name on it, and this book just fulfilled that for me. It's the story of a postman delivering letters to different fairy tale characters, and you get them in this book. So the first one I'll show you was delivered to Baby Bear, and it is a letter from Goldilocks. It's a really wonderful story. There's loads of different types of things in here. It just always makes me reminisce. There's, in this one, there is a story of Cinderella in this booklet. There's a I can't wait till I can share this with Matilda, and I've kept this one, and there's a Christmas one as well, and I just can't wait till we can read these together. But this was definitely one of my favourite books as a child. The next question says T-Rex, I've got a big head and little arms. What is a book that is strong in some areas and weak in others? Well, I haven't actually got this one because, as you may know if you've watched this channel for a while, I only keep books that I've given 5 stars to because I just do not have space on my shelves. So for this one I'm going to say My True Love Gave to Me, which was edited by Stephanie Perkins. This is a short story collection, and some of the stories I quite enjoyed and were quite strong, and others I didn't, and that is something that I struggle with short story collections which are written by multiple authors, because there's always going to be stuff in there that you don't like, and writers that just don't do it for you, and unfortunately I found that with this collection they were sort of 3 stars. Most of them were 3 stars and some were a bit less, and then there was the occasional strong one in there, so I definitely would say that one for this. Next one is Spider, no 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 no, something that you're never ever going to go near. And I think for me that, I hate to say never because I really don't like to say I'm never going to do something, but if I was going to pick an author that I don't think I could read, or I don't think I'll get on with, it's probably Virginia Woolf. Don't hate me, Virginia Woolf lovers. None of her books have really piqued my interest, and her writing style just doesn't seem like it would do it for me, so I think I'd have to say Virginia Woolf. Next is The Mockingbird, the animal that repeats others. What's your favourite adaptation or retelling? I think for me it's got to be Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth. I read this one earlier this year as part of the fairy tale retelling series that I did with Janet from Swirly Girly Reads, and this was one of our Rapunzel retellings, and it was brilliant. It's beautifully written, and it's following 3 women's lives that all combine and intertwine. We're following a young girl locked in a tower We're following a muse for an Italian artist, and we're following a woman that is exiled from court to a nunnery, and it's just brilliant. I definitely recommend this one. Next is The Laughing Hyena, a book that kept you laughing, and this one has to be Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. If you've watched her YouTube channel, then you'll know that she's got a really quirky sense of humour. Her videos are informative but also fun. And this is no different. It's from her story as a young mortician. We go behind the scenes at the crematory, we learn different things. And although it's wrong to say that this one had you laughing, it did. Situations arise, things happened. I found this funny. Also interesting. I don't want to say that this was just a comical story, because it's not just funny. It's not just here as comedy value. It's actually here for Caitlin to tell you about her story and to try and bring back the veil and make death less sort of closed off and curtained. And I just thought it was brilliant, and I really loved her writing style, and there was definitely some laugh out loud moments in here. Next is Mama Bear, a book with a fierce female character. For me, I'm picking The Blue Door by Lise Christiansen. This follows Lise's, it's a non-fiction story. This follows Lise's time in a Japanese prisoner of war camp in Java, and she is fierce. She fiercely protects her family, her mother and her siblings, and at just 10 years old she is a force to be reckoned with, and this book is amazing. It's a book I had to keep reminding myself was not fiction, and everybody should read it. The next book is Horrible Hateful Cat, a book you despise. Well, I obviously haven't got this one on my shelf, but that would have to be Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren. I hated this book. I read it with the lovely Jen from Today in Jen's Library, and we both hated this. It is just boring and boring. Next is Man's Best Friend, Dog, a book by someone you know, and for that I don't think I can find my copy anywhere, and I have got a copy of this book, so I don't know where it is. I will find it at some point, but that is The Bookshop Book by the lovely Jen Campbell. Jen is wonderful and brilliant and such a great writer, and someone that I've met in real life and that I know and that I chat to occasionally, and The Bookshop Book is brilliant. It's a book all about bookshops and anecdotes about bookshops and stories about different bookshops all over the world, and it's just very informative, really interesting. She's a great writer, and it's a really great collection of stories and information from booksellers and bookshops. So yeah, go and check it out. So anyway, that's my answers to the animal tag. I'm going to tag anybody that wants to do it. If you fancy doing this tag and you fancy giving it a go, do it, and then let me know in the comments on this one so that I can go and check your video out. That's it from me. Bye for now, BookTube.